This is 2B part 6. You're told that the worksheets need to be protected and that only the input cells on the APR calculator worksheet and the ownership model worksheet should be able to be selected or edited. So all other cells mustn't be able to be selected or edited. Now you might be thinking at this point, well, I'll just hide some of these worksheets by going to hide. But the question does actually say, show annotated evidence of how you protected the cells and worksheets. So although I agree you're protecting it in a way, it's not full protection, so we're not going to follow that route. Now by default, all cells are locked. So if we format a cell and we see the protection, we can see that they're all locked. So to lock a worksheet like this, it's quite straightforward. We go to Review and we select Protect Worksheet. We don't want to be able to select locked cells, because remember it wasn't just about editing, it was about selecting as well. And I'm not going to create a password, but you could create a password. But remember, if you do create a password, try not to forget it. It's a bit of a pain trying to retrieve these things. Now look, I cannot now click on any of these, so I can't select them. And I can do exactly the same to the APR table, and by doing that you can see now that I can't select them. But we do need to be able to select these cells here. So we need to unlock them before we protect our worksheet. So I'm going to use the control key. So I'm going to highlight these, hold down control to select multiple cells, and we'll have a look at their protection. You can see they're locked. So I'm going to unlock them because these are input cells. Now I'm going to protect that sheet using the same method. I want to be able to select unlocked cells though. And now look, I can select those, but I can't select others. So for example, if I change to no on-time payments, you'll see that everything changes. And if I change back to yes on-time payments, it still works. And I can do the same with changing these payments around like this. Now when it comes to the APR calculator, this is a little bit more tricky because some cells are straightforward. This one has got to be edited, this one needs to be able to be edited, and so does this one. But if we're making changes to form controls, then we also need to consider where they're linked to. And I'm going to show you what happens if we ignore the form controls. Let's say we try to select that cell and select this cell, which won't actually work. And we go to Format Cells and I unlock them. And now I protect the sheet. You'll see I can change my self-employed. That's fine because that is within that cell itself. I can change the date because that is within that cell itself as well. Good, my validation's working. We'll just leave that as it was. But if I try to change the credit rating manually, well, I shouldn't be putting anything in here, should I? So I shouldn't have unlocked that cell. But if I try to change it using the slider, it won't let me. And the reason is because the slider's cell link is there. Similarly, the cell link for the driving license type is here. And for the guarantor, it is here. So what we needed to do, and I'm just going to put all my protection back to what it was, as locked, is think about which cells are the ones that are being changed. So it's this one, the slider changes this cell, the option buttons change this cell, the guarantor changes this cell, the date of birth changes this cell. Now when it comes to real coursework, I don't think you have to do anything quite this complicated. You're writing a help sheet and you're only going to be writing about one of the other worksheets that needs to be protected. This one needs to be protected completely. There's no input values that are being changed, so you don't need to worry about this too much, but it's good practice. So now we'll protect the sheet and you'll now see that everything should work, and it's still not working. Do you know why? Because I didn't actually unlock them. So it's really important that we remember to unlock them. So now if we protect it, there we go, everything's working fine. Probably would have been a good idea if I had unhighlighted everything first, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that is that part of that task completed.